Hey everyone, great to see you here on the How to English podcast channel.
Hello, and a big hello to everyone listening. Today, we are really excited to be launching into a new deep dive.
We are, and this one is all about practical English conversation skills. We're going to be tackling those little moments that make us pause and feel just a little bit awkward.
Exactly. We're not just looking at vocabulary lists today. We're using a specific, and I think a very relatable scenario as our guide.
That's right, and it's a situation that I think everybody has experienced. You run into someone you know, you remember their face, you even remember the last conversation you had, but their name is just gone, vanish.
Yes, the panic is real. So our mission in this deep dive is to really explore that common social moment, the panic, the recovery, and then the polite exit.
And the goal is to arm you with the real English, the everyday English phrases that native speakers use almost automatically to navigate that exact moment smoothly.
So you can feel fluent and confident even if you're a little bit embarrassed.
Exactly. So to start, we are going to listen to a short dialogue. We've got two characters, we'll call them Nick and Anna. Now, this first time you hear it, it's going to be fast.
Very fast. This is real, natural conversational speed. Don't worry about catching every single word. Just try to get the general idea, the feeling of the conversation.
Think of it like a baseline test. Just listen to the speed, the interaction. Here we go.
How's it going? What are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you live around here?
My office is right around the corner. It was great to meet you last week at the conference. Enjoyed our foreign investment talk.
I'm in a bit of a hurry, but here's my card. We should meet up again.
You still have my contact details, right?
This is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind. Can you remind me?
Sure. My name is Anna Ferris. Don't worry, it happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names, too.
Okay.
So that was fast. But the main point was pretty clear, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nick was happy to see Anna. He remembered what they talked about.
But he totally blanked on her name.
He did. But he handled it. And that's what we're focusing on. Even in that embarrassing moment, he used, 4 or 5 really crucial, natural English phrases?
And that's our job for the rest of this deep dive. We're going to unpack those phrases.
Yeah.
We'll analyze why they work so well and make sure they become part of your conversational toolkit.
So let's start by breaking down the key language. We'll call these our language takeaways. And we're going to slow way down now.
Our first section is going to focus on 3 key phrases that are just essential for these kinds of social encounters, whether they're professional or just casual.
Let's start with the first one.
Okay, so our first key phrase is the one Nick used to politely get out of the conversation. It's in a bit of a hurry.
Right, in a bit of a hurry. So when you say this, it basically means you don't have enough time to stop and chat properly, you're moving quickly, you have to be somewhere else.
It's the perfect, polite way to signal that you have to leave soon.
Exactly. Let's practice that. We're going to say it slowly, so just listen and you can repeat it in a bit of a hurry.
In a bit of a hurry.
Now, the important word here is bit, because you could just say, I'm in a hurry, but that sounds...
Strong. Yeah, very urgent. Almost a little rude or like you're panicking.
Right. But when you add a bit, it just softens the whole thing. I'm in a bit of a hurry.
That is such a crucial point. If you were running late for a flight, you'd shout, I'm in a hurry. But here, with an acquaintance, you want to be respectful. So you say, I'm in a bit of a hurry. It's like a social lubricant. It lets you exit politely.
Let's look at a few examples of how you might use this. The first one is about speed. Listen. Can you drive faster? I'm in a bit of a hurry.
See, it's much less aggressive than just demanding they speed up. You're just stating your situation.
Okay, example 2. This is for when you can't talk. I can't talk right now. I'm in a bit of a hurry.
It's a perfect, totally non-confrontational way to decline a conversation when you're short on time. I can't talk right now. I'm in a bit of a hurry.
And the last one is about postponing something. I'm in a bit of a hurry, so we'll check these files later.
Your time constraint means the task has to wait. It's a much more natural phrase than saying, I have little time or something like that.
Right. It manages that social expectation. You're acknowledging the person, but you're also setting a clear boundary.
And, it even helps Nick with his forgotten name situation.
So?
Well, because he's in a bit of a hurry, it gives him a sort of excuse for why his brain isn't 100% focused. The context of being rushed makes the memory lapse a little more understandable.
That's a great point. So remember this one.
Yep.
In a bit of a hurry. It's your go-to phrase for polite exits.
Okay, on to our second phrase. This is one that Anna used. She confirmed Nick still had her contact detail.
Contact details. Yeah, this is a huge one, especially for professional or networking English. It just means all the information someone needs to Well, to contact you.
Right. Your name, phone number, email address, all of that stuff together.
The information you'd find on a business card, those are your contact details.
Let's practice that one, nice and slow. Contact details.
Contact details. And notice it's plural. Details. You're talking about multiple pieces of information.
Yes, you'd almost never hear someone say contact detail. It implies a set.
It's just efficient, isn't it? Instead of listing everything, do you have my phone number and my email and my address? You just say one phrase.
Exactly. Contact details.
So let's run through a few examples. Example 1, a simple request. Do you have the contact details of our internet service provider?
Clear, precise. You know exactly what information you're asking for.
Example 2 is what Nick was doing in the dialogue. Here is my card with all my contact details.
That's the classic professional way to share that info.
And example 3, asking for the information. I don't have your contact details.
It's a straightforward way to signal you need their info to follow up.
And I think it's important to note this phrase is maybe a little more formal. With a close friend, you'd probably just say, hey, what's your number?
Oh, for sure. But for someone you met at a conference, contact details is perfect.
Yeah.
It's professional.
It sets the right tone for the relationship. It says, I want to follow up on our business conversation.
Okay, now for the big one. The most important phrase in this whole scenario. The beautiful idiom Nick used when he admitted his mistake.
Ah, yes. Slipped my mind.
Slipped my mind. It's a fantastic phrase. It means you've forgotten something, but usually by accident. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah, just sort of fell out of your brain.
Exactly. Let's practice saying it. Listen to the rhythm. Slipped my mind.
Slipped my mind.
So let's talk about why this phrase is so good. Why not just say, I forgot?
Good question.
When Nick says, your name has just slipped my mind, he's doing something really important socially. He is.
Yeah.
Well, he's externalizing the blame.
That is a brilliant way to put it. He's not saying I failed.
No.
He's saying the name itself was slippery and it just fell out of his memory. It shifts the blame from him, the person, to his abstract memory, his mind.
And that makes the whole situation much more polite. It's a subtle way of saying, it's not that I don't care about you or your name. It's just that my brain malfunctioned for a second.
It's the perfect excuse for any minor memory problem. Let's practice it again, just to lock it in. Slipped my mind.
Okay, let's listen to 3 examples of how you can use this for different types of things you might forget.
Example 1. I'm sorry I forgot to respond to your email. It just slipped my mind.
This really emphasizes it was an accident, not that you were ignoring them.
Example 2, for an important date. You'll often hear people add an extra word for emphasis here. Oh, it's your birthday. Completely slipped my mind.
That word completely shows how big the memory lapse was, but it still has that politeness from the idiom.
And finally, a situation just like the one in our dialogue. I forgot I had a dentist appointment this afternoon. It must have slipped my mind.
So, slip my mind means you forgot something accidentally. It's an essential phrase for moving from just being a learner to being someone who is really fluent in social graces.
Absolutely. So that wraps up our core vocabulary. In a bit of a hurry, contact details, and slipped my mind. Now let's move on to how we structure these words into natural conversational blocks.
Yes. This next section we call putting it together. And this is where we shift from just individual phrases to structural fluency. How to put your thoughts together quickly and naturally.
Right. We're looking at phrases that can modify things like location and ability, which will make your speech a lot more flexible.
And our first one is the phrase Anna used to talk about where her office is. Around here.
Around here. It's a really casual way to say close by or near this location where we are right now.
Let's practice that. Around here.
Around here.
You can use it for simple questions. For example, is there a bank around here?
Meaning, is there a bank close to where I'm standing now, within walking distance?
Or another one, did I leave my key somewhere around here? You're just searching the immediate area.
Okay, but now let's look at the variations, because Anna actually used a slightly different one that's even more specific.
Right, she said her office was right around the corner.
Right around the corner. This means very close, like literally on the next street. A minute's walk away, maybe less.
For example, there's a great restaurant right around the corner. It suggests it's almost immediately accessible. It's much, much closer than just around here.
And then there's another variation we can use for places that are far away. Around there.
Around there. This refers to a general area that isn't close to us right now.
Like if you were talking about a trip, you could say, Paris is a beautiful city. I used to live around there.
Exactly. You lived in the general Paris region, not on this specific street corner. It signals that the location is distant.
So you have a scale. Right around the corner is the closest.
That around here is near.
And around there is for a general distant place. Understanding these little differences makes you sound much more specific without needing complex language.
Okay, our second key structural phrase is the one Anna used to make Nick feel better. Terrible with.
Yes. Terrible with. This is a very common sort of self-deprecating way of saying you're bad at something.
Right. You consistently have difficulty with a certain type of task or knowledge. It's a great way to admit a weakness.
Let's practice it slowly.
Yeah.
Terrible with.
Terrible with.
Now, we should probably talk about the structure. Why do we say terrible with and not terrible at? Because you can say, I'm terrible at remembering names.
You can. But using with often implies it's a more general, ongoing characteristic. It's a little softer than at.
It's one of those nuances that really signals fluency.
It is. When Anna says, I'm terrible with names, it's a blanket statement. It covers all names for all time. And that makes Nick's specific mistake feel a lot less personal.
Right. We've got a few examples that show how you can use this for all sorts of common difficulties.
Example 1 for math. You're terrible with numbers. You can't even remember your own telephone number.
Or you might hear someone at work say, I always make mistakes with the budget. I'm just terrible with numbers.
Example 2 for directions. I'm terrible with directions. I'm always getting lost. A classic. And example 3, which is directly related to our dialogue. I'm terrible with faces. I can never remember what people look like. And of course, I'm terrible with names. And our last one, for technical skills. Every time I turn on the computer, something happens. I'm terrible with technology.
Oh, I feel that one. I have to admit, I am genuinely terrible with technology. The second my computer updates, I feel like I need a full tutorial just to find the buttons again.
It's nice to know we all have these things. I'm the opposite. I'm terrible with faces. I'll recognize someone's jacket before I recognize them, which can be pretty awkward.
Well, this is a perfect chance for everyone listening to practice. Think about it for a second. What are you terrible with?
Use that full phrase, I am terrible with. And let us know in the comments below. Maybe you're terrible with time management or terrible with cooking. Sharing your own examples really helps everyone learn.
Okay, so now that we've broken down all these key phrases, from the politeness of slip my mind to the structure of terrible with, I think it's time to listen to that dialogue again.
Yes, your brain is now primed to hear these things. This time, we'll read it a little slower, so you can really hear and isolate those phrases we've been studying.
Pay attention to how Nick uses them to navigate the situation. Here it is again.
How's it going? Oh, hey, what are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you live around here?
Actually, my office is right around the corner. It was great to meet you last week at the conference. I really enjoyed our conversation about foreign investment.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I'm in a bit of a hurry, but here's my card. We should definitely meet up again and continue our discussion.
Sure, you still have my contact details, right?
You know what, this is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind. Can you remind me?
Sure. My name is Anna Ferris. Don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names, too.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
A huge difference. You can follow the whole conversation now. You can hear those specific phrases, and you know exactly what they're doing socially.
You should feel a much higher level of comprehension.
And that's the power of this kind of focused contextual analysis. It doesn't take long to make a big improvement.
All right, next up is our Fluency Builder segment. This is where we look at conversational shortcuts that help you sound more authentic.
Today, we're focusing on Nick's very first line. How's it going?
How's it going? This greeting is it's essential. It's so incredibly common in casual American English, especially when you run into someone unexpectedly.
Right. How are you or how are you doing
Yeah.
are perfectly correct. There's nothing wrong with them. But how's it going just has a lighter, more relaxed feel.
It does. It kind of implies you're not necessarily expecting a long, detailed answer. It's more of a quick, hello.
We should probably talk about the pronunciation, too. Native speakers often blur it together. How's it going? The G at the end of going often disappears.
Right. Let's say it again with that rhythm. How's it going?
How's it going? We really encourage you to try this one out. Next time you see a friend on the street, just try it. Hey, how's it going? It signals a very casual, easy relationship.
And let's be clear about the context. If you're going into a formal meeting with your boss, how are you?
Right.
Is probably better. But if you're just walking past a colleague in the hall, how's it going? Is perfect. It was the spontaneous nature of Nick running into Anna that made it the natural choice.
Okay, now let's get to the real heart of this, the social anxiety. We've established that forgetting a name is common. Anna even says, it happens to me all the time. But let's dig into the psychology of it.
Well, the panic is real because the name is so fundamental. Forgetting it feels like you're saying that person isn't important. But psychologically, it's actually extremely common to forget names.
Why is that?
Because names are often just arbitrary labels.
Yeah.
They don't have the rich context that our brains use to remember, say, facts or events.
That's fascinating. So it's not a failure to remember who the person is, but a failure to retrieve that one specific arbitrary sound that's attached to them.
Exactly. Nick remembered the event, the conference. He remembered the topic foreign investment. He remembered her face. But that one word, Anna, it just got stuck.
I have a really awkward story about this. I once forgot the name of a new CEO of a small client company. I mean, literally 30 seconds after he told me his name.
Oh, no.
Yes. We were walking across the office, and I needed to introduce him to someone. And my mind just went completely blank. And it was too soon to say it slipped my mind.
That is a high-stakes situation. What did you do?
I had to improvise. I used a version of my trick. I paused and I said to my colleague, I'm so sorry, my mind is racing. I'm in a bit of a hurry here. Could you start us off? I want to make sure I introduce you correctly.
That's brilliant.
It bought me just enough time, and thankfully, the CEO jumped in and said his own name again. Crisis averted.
That is brilliant conversational redirection. You use the idea of being in a bit of a hurry to excuse the memory lapse without ever actually admitting it. That's next-level fluency.
Well, it makes me think of your story, which I think is even higher pressure, forgetting a family member's name.
It is a different level of awkward. It was at a huge family reunion, hundreds of people, and I saw this man I knew was an older relative. But I could not for the life of me remember if he was Uncle David or Robert or Mike. The name had completely slipped my mind.
So how do you talk to someone for 10 minutes without using their name?
You become a master of generic phrases. It's so wonderful to see you. That's a great question. I just focused entirely on the conversation and avoided addressing him directly at all.
That's impressive stamina. But how did you finally figure it out?
Eventually, I found a younger cousin who knew everyone, and I just whispered, "Who's that great guy in the red shirt over there?" And she said, "Oh, that's Uncle Michael." The relief was just immense.
The takeaway there for everyone listening is that sometimes the best strategy is just to redirect or delegate.
It is. But let's talk about some safer tricks for a professional setting. Your trick of asking for a business card is a great one.
Right, and you can frame it positively. You say something like, that was such a great conversation, I want to make sure I have your contact details to follow up.
And boom, the name is right there on the card. Perfect.
Another one I use, if cards aren't really a thing, is what I call the email spell check.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
You just say, I'd love to email you that report we talked about. Can you spell out your email address for me? I'm terrible with spelling names correctly in emails.
And of course, their email address usually has their full name in it.
Exactly. You get to read the name and lock it in without ever admitting you forgot it.
That is fantastic, actionable advice for everyone listening, especially if you're using English in business settings where the pressure is so high. These are the little tricks that help you avoid ever having to say, your name has slipped my mind.
We really hope you can take that advice and use it next time you're caught in that situation.
And before we move on to our final review, just a quick pause. If you are finding this deep dive helpful, if you're learning these phrases, please take just a second to click the like button and subscribe to the channel.
It really does help us keep making detailed lessons just like this one for you.
Okay, time for the final listen. We've gone through the vocabulary, we've analyzed the fluency phrases, we've discussed the social dynamics. Your brain is ready.
Listen to the dialogue one last time at natural, real-world speed. You should be able to follow every single word and understand all the subtle social meanings we've talked about.
How's it going? Oh, hey, what are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you live around here?
Actually, my office is right around the corner. It was great to meet you last week at the conference. I really enjoyed our conversation about foreign investment.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You know, I'm in a bit of a hurry, but here's my card. We should definitely meet up again and continue our discussion.
Sure, you still have my contact details, right?
You know what? This is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind. Can you remind me?
Sure, my name is Anna Faris. Don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names, too.
It feels so much clearer now, doesn't it?
It really does. Because you don't just know the words, you understand the social contract. Nick apologizes politely, and Anna immediately helps him save face by saying, I'm terrible with names, too.
Perfect. Let's finish up with a quick, comprehensive review to lock in everything we've learned. I'll give the definition, and you give the target phrase.
Ready. Let's do it.
Okay. The essential, casual way to greet someone you run into.
How's it going?
A polite, soft way of saying you have to leave quickly.
In a bit of a hurry.
The general area close to where we're talking now.
Around here.
A very specific, very close location, maybe on the next street.
Right around the corner.
The formal, plural term for your phone number, email, etc.
Contact details.
The polite, idiomatic phrase for when you've accidentally forgotten something.
Slipped my mind.
The structure you use to admit you have an ongoing weakness or lack of skill.
Terrible with.
And the phrase for a location that's far away from the current conversation. Excellent. Now let's do a quick application test. You need to leave a party because you have another commitment. What do you say?
I'm so sorry. I have to go. I'm in a bit of a hurry.
You want to know if there's a coffee shop nearby? What do you ask?
Is there a good cafe around here?
You realize you forgot to call your friend yesterday. How do you apologize?
I'm so sorry I didn't call. It completely slipped my mind.
Perfect. You're bad at reading maps. How do you admit it naturally?
You should hold the map. I'm terrible with directions.
Excellent. We've really covered how to use natural English to recover from that awkward moment, professionally and politely.
And we talked about some great tricks for when a name has slipped your mind, like asking for a card or for an email spelling.
So one last time, we want to hear from you. We shared our best tricks for handling this situation.
What are your best tricks? If you have a clever way to remember a name or to recover a forgotten one, please share it in the comments below. Your advice could really help another learner.
That brings us to the end of this deep dive. Our mission was to analyze that embarrassing moment of forgetting a name and to give you the natural English phrases to handle it with grace.
Thank you so much for joining us for this lesson. If you found this breakdown helpful, please remember to click that like button and subscribe to the channel.
We look forward to seeing you in our next deep dive, where we'll break down another real-world English scenario.
And here's a final thought for you to take with you this week. We learned how to handle a forgotten name using soft language, phrases like slipped my mind or in a bit of a hurry. Think about other common social mistakes, like accidentally interrupting someone, or mispronouncing a name, or getting an appointment time wrong. How could the ideas we learned today, the idea of softening the language, of externalizing the blame, how could you adapt those principles to navigate those other embarrassing moments? Thinking about how to apply these strategies more broadly is the next step to true conversational mastery. Until next time, keep practicing.